guys, it's Robin here from girlonraw.com again, and in today's video I wanted to have a little bit of a chat about food philosophies. There seems to be a lot of talk at the moment in the blogosphere, in particular about different kinds of diets, different labels, which I've spoken about before last year on the blog, and had a lot of great dialogue between everyone as to what label they considered themselves to be under, or whether people wanted to use food labels at all. But I just wanted to cover off today basically my food philosophy. So one of the main questions I get asked is, obviously I'm Girl on Raw, do I eat 100% raw? No, I don't, and it's really not a difficult question for me to answer, because the only time I was ever close to being 100% raw was when I was in Oklahoma City doing my raw chef training, and I was surrounded by amazing and delicious raw food 24/7, which some of it was what I'd made myself and others was what was available for purchase at the cafe, which was part of the academy. And at that time, I'd never felt better. But no, I'm not 100% raw, and at this point in my food journey or my life journey, I don't aspire to be 100% raw, but who knows what's in store down the track. So the variation on which I take on raw food, it changes for me from season to mood, and I find it hard to quantify how little or how much raw food I do actually eat. But the raw food community standard is about 70 to 80% raw in your diet is considered you to be a raw foodist. But I don't really like labeling, so I don't always consider myself, I don't introduce myself as a raw foodist. I feel really uncomfortable pigeonholing myself or boxing myself into one form of a discipline or another. And I wrote about that early last year. I'll put the link to the previous post at the bottom of this video if you missed it. There was some great dialogue, great discussion, a lot of great comments from different people's ideas on what they felt labels constituted to them. And I find the minute that you do pigeonhole yourself into one form of eating or another, you set yourself up for failure, or you set yourself up to be under pressure. So for right now, here's how I roll, but of course it's subject to change, and you know, there's always going to be new research coming out, new seasons, new availability of products or produce, lifestyle, and plenty more other things that can actually impact the changes to the way you eat. So the way I roll is I believe that eating preference is completely a personal thing. So for me, I tend to eat raw until dinner most days, but I'm not locking that in. There are some whole days and even a few at times where I'll find myself unconsciously eating raw all day. That's usually in summer or just whenever my body just doesn't feel like raw, doesn't feel like it wants cooked food. I have a place for cooked food in my diet, but I find my body at this stage works best when I do eat a large portion of my diet raw. I don't believe you need to eat 100% all raw diet to gain the health benefits, or even need to eat a vegan diet, although I do think, of course, that if you did both of those things, you could have amazing health results. I like to encourage others to learn for themselves what works best for their bodies, both physically and mentally. However, I obviously love sharing what works for me and what has worked for me in the past. The all or nothing mentality doesn't really gel with me. I like to be free to make my decisions as I go along, and this helps me to have a more balanced approach, not only to my diet, but to the course of my life. And lastly, there's no place for judgment in my way of thinking in what someone chooses to eat or not eat. I think diet and eating is a very personal journey, and it should be a really fun journey as well for each of us. And although I'd love to see more people eating less animal products, that's less processed animal products, for both their health and the animal rights, I feel that this is something that you as an individual should come to of your own journey. So there you have it. Of course, everything I've just said, I reserve the right to change any or all of the above. That's my disclaimer with how I eat at any given time. For example, I've been eating quite a bit of cooked foods lately, And right now my body is telling me that it wants nothing but simple, raw, delicious foods like some crispy salads, delicious veggie pasta bowls. And I think I really do see a couple of 100% raw days in my near future. So I like the flexibility and I like the spontaneity of being able to do that. So, you know, I'd be really interested to know what your thoughts are on having food labels or food philosophies. Obviously, as I mentioned, mine's really flexible and it can change from time to time. I'm really enjoying listening to the Great Health Debate and listening to some high profile, very experienced, very intelligent people speaking about their experiences with both patients and scientific and anecdotal data on what is best for the ultimate diet. But ultimately, I'd like to really encourage people to find out for themselves by just trying out different ways of eating or different ways of living, because it should be a lifestyle, not just all about eating, and it should be fun and it should be easy and it should make you feel good. So I'd really love to hear what you've got to say on this, and I hope you got something out of this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.